Today we're going to take you for a ride. It's the Arcade1up at EVO after show and the reveal of Marvel versus Capcom 2. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and the second stream of the day. What a treat for somebody. I don't know. You're probably here just to see what's going on, to see maybe some new images of the thing that got revealed, a little obscure, sort of unknown cabinet. You know, I can't even think of the name. Maybe, you know what? Maybe, just maybe, Justin can remind me. What are we talking about again? I can't remember the
NFL Blitz. NFL Blitz
yes,
had a
that's
leak
right.
today.
It was a great thing. NFL Blitz. Everybody's very excited. Wondering about the roster. We're going to talk about that today. And
Marvel superheroes.
Marvel Super
Countercade is $129, the lowest price we've ever seen on retail.
I don't know that it's possible for me to be any more excited about that. Oh, you know what? I think that there is. If we could possibly, there is one. Oh, right,
that's right. Yeah. That was a subject that was popular today. That's right. Yeah,
sort of,
I forgot about that one.
Yeah, it was kind of on the last page. I guess for anybody in this community that's maybe been living under a rock, you missed it. They revealed Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Arcade1up did at EVO. Just really, I guess, just a few hours ago. Really, not even half a day. Maybe 6, 7, 8 hours ago. And
they say it couldn't have been done.
Since 2013, we have not been able to purchase at retail Marvel vs. Capcom 2 in any way, shape, or form. That was the last time it was offered. It was an HD remake on the PlayStation 3, the Xbox 360. That was it. That was the last time. We were told for years this thing was just stuck in licensing hell and it will never be seen again. The hashtag was created, and everyone was just saddened and disheartened. But rejoice, people, rejoice, because it's here. Not a little disc that you can buy, but an actual cabinet. But before we really get into some of the details, we're going to say hi to the chat. And I want to say again, thanks to Justin, ConsoleKits, for jumping in and hanging out with me again. I've been just sort of monopolizing a lot of his time, and I feel a little bit bad. I don't feel bad at all. I really don't. But for Boat Pete, Pizza 64 says, pretty disappointed. No Punisher. Very valid point. Any idea why John was vague on stream earlier this week? We haven't really gotten in the way of a press release, a written down reason why, but we have someone else in the chat who is in full support of your desire to have this game back on. Free Punisher is the most important hashtag of our lifetimes. Big ED, what's going on? Pumped for the show. I'm glad you are pumped because we are pumped as well. Scroll down to Chris S. I don't want to mess up that last name. I know that's such a bummer, Justin. Every cloud has a silver or black lining. I don't know. This is a cloud and there's a lining.
Yeah, I see where you're going there, but yeah,
it's a white. We're gonna move on because I can't lock that one down. It's Pixel.
There's always something wrong with every Arcade1up cabinet. Yeah, this one is Punisher.
A thing. There's always a thing, and I think it's legit. We're going to talk about that. Pixel Arc Studio says yes, such a bummer. So the top comments right up, such a bummer. No Punisher. It's not included on the MVC2 cab. Was really hoping they'd slide. Well, listen, don't even get me. We're gonna, you know what? Let's not. I'm gonna calm down. We're not even gonna go there because this is a day of celebration. Ritual Dello says, "Hey Fox, how are you doing?" Shoeshine says, "Really." Again, Justin, it may be a bigger deal than we initially realized. We got Fox on Friday. Hype. Absolutely. Glad somebody's happy to see me. It's really, when you get to be our age, we're just happy people even acknowledge you're in the room. So it's a good day. It's a good day for all of us. Just an emblem of a fox, and I like it, Adam. I really do. It's really good. Scroll down, and we already got, and listen, I've talked about the value of the Canadian dollar and how it's so much more valuable than the American dollar. And so this means that much more. Coming from Rice Retro Cade, a $6.99 Canadian dollar super chat, hashtag freed Marvel versus Capcom MVC2. It is freed. It is alive and well.
Free at last.
Thank God Almighty, we're free at last. Psycho Gamer, yo, what's going on, buddy? How you doing? Good to see you. Lots of hashtags in the chat. Everybody's excited. I think for the most part, everybody's excited with that little caveat that, man, if we could have only gotten Punisher. Zenitram says, I bet Capcom Fighting Collection 2 coming within a year with Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Project Justice, Power Stone. Now we're gone. We're off the reservation. We're so excited. We got this. We didn't think we were going to get it. Now it's like, what's next? What's next? That's what we do as gamers and speculators. Is,
was that commenting that there'll be a console release of MVC2?
I think that's what they're implying. Talking about the what was the fight? It was the Fighting Collection came out this year, so they're speculating. Okay, Fighting Collection 2, we're going to see Marvel vs. Capcom 2 as a part of that collection. Maybe bring back Project Justice, Power Stone, some of these really, really hard to lock down games.
I think it'll be more like Punisher will show up on the Fighting Collection too.
They'll keep that separate, and then we'll be like, no,
that's why. It was a trade.
Now we know. Now we know it was a 1-for-1 swap. It was a hostage trade. Right. You want this?
Fine,
okay,
fine, we'll give you Punisher.
But it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you. My good buddy Ezekiel, the Chicago Retro Ranger, with a $5 super chat. What's up, fellas? What is going on, buddy? Not much. Just talking about a little cab called Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Everybody is jumping. Oh, A2D2 warms my heart. Great to see you, girl. Thanks for stopping by. Weapon X, a dangerous individual to say the least. Yeah, glad to see Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Punisher or not. Punisher or not. Sometimes it just doesn't matter. Dark Kick, how you doing? Make sure you were one of the winners of my 12-hour stream. Make sure you email me your address so I can send you your prize, buddy, that you were the only one that I didn't get an address for. So
didn't he win multiple things? He won from you, and I think he won from another stream.
What do you do? You're just racking up. He's a scam artist. He's pulling the wool over our eyes. Good job, by the way, if you are.
Yeah.
Good job. Nice job indeed. Charlie Chuck, what's going on, buddy? I'm another who loves the Punisher. At least we know it's not kept off emptiness, out of impet. There's a word there that I can't say. We're going to move on because unfortunately, you've just proven once again, Charlie Chuck, you're smarter than us. Again, are you looking it up? Are you looking up the word?
Yeah. Oh, I'm looking it up. Generally incompetent.
Gotcha. Okay. So it's being inept. Okay. I got you. Sorry. It's been a long day. Please bear with us. A $10 super chat from Fighters EVO, Fighters Evolution. Woo. $10, over 100 people watching and only 21 people like this video. It's a shame. It's a crying shame. Please smash the like button. Respect the content creators. Give a thumbs up for these awesome details. Thanks and shout out and respect to all involved with Freed. Hashtag Freed. MVC2. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat and the great advice. When you hear great advice, you got to take it. You absolutely got to take it, console fanboy. Rocking the house. And as the day goes on, I get more and more upset. We'll talk later. It's all right.
I think I know why he's upset.
Fine. You think it's the BOE?
It's the BOE. He's like, my baby didn't get a BOE.
I wish I could say he doesn't have a point, but he does. He's got a point. I sympathize. I absolutely sympathize. Paul Midman says, two of my favorite YouTubers right there. I'm speechless. Thank you so much, Paul. I appreciate you, man. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks, Paul.
And checking out the stream. Let's get into it.
You got to highlight Victor.
Well, sorry. Where are we at?
Don't you guys have jobs?
We quit our jobs.
We quit. We're going full-time YouTube.
We quit a day. Okay, well, all right. To be more specific, we took a day off.
This is funny. Like, I was telling my wife this. I scheduled this day off. Has nothing to do with, like, the Arcade1up information.
Serious?
Yeah. I didn't actually put together. So I was just... I've been trying to burn through some vacation days, so I've been taking some Fridays off. And so I'm like, I'm going to take this Friday off. The company's like, you got to start using your vacation time during the summer. Like, that's important, right? So I'm like, okay, I scheduled some days off. So it just landed. And I think you took vacation time off as well. But
yeah, we're up in the Cincinnati area. We're going back down to Texas to meet up with my folks and my family and all that. This was just part of that vacation. I was going to maybe try to squeeze in some video content the last day, but this has been just a gift, the gift that keeps on giving. So yeah, the stars sort of aligned, and we're kind of making out like bandits here. Really fun day. And why don't we just get into it? So the number one slide, Marvel versus Capcom 2. Here's the cabinet. Here's a picture of the cabinet. Everybody soak it up with all the MVC2 goodness. The games. What's the games list? It's going to be Marvel vs. Capcom 2, obviously, Marvel Superheroes, X-Men, Children of the Atom, Marvel Superheroes versus Street Fighter, X-Men versus Street Fighter, Marvel versus Capcom, and then, unfortunately, we get the two console games. We have the Marvel Superheroes War of the Gems and X-Men Mutant Apocalypse. It's fine. I don't think that they really have a place on a cabinet because they're a console game, but I guess to each his own. When you saw this list, Justin, what do you think about it?
Well, it made me think about, is this the consolidation cabinet, right? So there's probably some people out there that have a mixture of some of the previous cabinets, and this seems to be more of a definitive cabinet, if you will, of the brand, of the theme. But if you're taking that approach, now you have concessions because you're going to lose out on some of the games that are exclusive on the previous one, and you're going to trade some artwork. But what you're going to get is online for all of these games, including Marvel vs. Capcom 2. And so I mean, that's my thought.
I will say that this makes the best case for literally just sort of upgrading from an MVC 1 cab to this cab. It seems like a true sort of next step. You're going to get all the games you currently have. Actually, there's a couple games on this cabinet that are not on the MVC 1 cabinet, minus obviously Marvel vs. Capcom 2. So you're going to gain some additional games as well as Marvel vs. Capcom 2. You're getting, I think, a superior cabinet shape. The style, the play is going to be a little more comfortable, in my opinion. So I tend to agree. This is almost like, it's almost like a no-brainer. It's the new car that you trade in for, right?
Yeah, I mean, this might be weird, and people would probably call me out for it, but it's what I feel. I'm kind of like, when I saw the logo for X-Men Mutant Apocalypse, that was the first time I saw that game was on there. But I saw it from kind of far away, and it just looked like X-Men.
Yes.
I couldn't see the Mutant Apocalypse. I'm like, did they put the beat-em-up X-Men game on here?
Oh my gosh.
Which actually, in my opinion, would be amazing. Don't care if all those people out there are like, yeah, but it's 4-player. I'm like, yeah, but it would be really fun to mix it up. But they wouldn't do that. But again, I have a buddy that loves all of these games. I'm not a super, like I like these games.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
But there's some super fans of these games, right? So I can't claim to be that. But I would love to buy this so my buddy would come over and we play the games together. That would make the games that much more enjoyable.
I think that those people that would maybe give you a hard time about having X-Men on this cabinet would also not be too thrilled with me, because last week we talked about this, my idea for the Marvel Legacy Edition, before we really had confirmation about the Marvel vs. Capcom 2, what I kind of hoped that we could see moving forward when it came to the Marvel properties that they owned. And this was my list, and sort of as the wow, wouldn't it be really cool options at the very bottom was X-Men Konami, but a 2-player version of that. And then maybe, wouldn't it be sweet just to throw in Spider-Man from Sega also? Just kind of throw it in there. And of course, I kind of thought a no-brainer was going to be Punisher. Turns out that's not the case.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing, But what do you think about the shape? The shape of this versus like a Big Blue, while we have Street Fighter in there. Would you have rather have had a Marvel vs. Capcom 2 in the Big Blue type of shape? With a really big top, the big marquee.
Really big, the huge marquee and all that. I think that would have been probably more arcade accurate, because it's, we're getting, I think, maybe to that time frame in arcade history where a lot of games were on different cabinets. So you had a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But I think when it came to these Capcom games, most of them probably came on the Big Blue cabinet or maybe like a Dynamo. Not a lot of them actually came on what I would consider to be a legitimate Midway design right here. I think it's fair to say this would be considered a Midway shape. And I don't think you're going to get much pushback from anybody. So it would have been more accurate. However, when we're talking about Arcade1up and the comfort level and the cabinets that they've produced, I'm going to like playing on this more than I would the Big Blue.
There's a super chat that's right in line with this conversation. We
Oh,
should.
great. So we got
recommend we
Ezekiel
highlight that.
Chicago Retro Ranger, another $10 super chat, buddy. Thank you so much. Question for both of you. First of all, I love that we got Marvel vs. Capcom 2, but did you like the shape? Okay, that they used. I would have preferred a big blue shape, but still happy with it. Thank you so much, buddy, again for the $10. I really do appreciate it. Let me pose that question to you then. Maybe you're not a super fan, but I think we want some authenticity in these arcade machines that we purchase. Does it matter to you? What do you think?
Well, for me, yeah, authenticity is a pretty high point, but also like the Street Fighter 2 Turbo, that particular marquee when we're talking about Street Fighter, that like logo, like I know it's imprinted in my brain through content that I've watched, through arcades that I had as a kid. Whereas this is just me, the Street Fighter Turbo that you showed in that picture a second ago does not imprint on me, right? And the point I'm making is I have the Big Blue, but now I have the Yoga Flame, and I'm actually thinking about selling my Big Blue because of the stronger nostalgic connection, which is weird. It's only the marquee. The marquee is the nostalgic connection, not the art on the side. But I'm like, I think it's a better cab. I think it's a better shape.
I tend to agree, but I don't think it's weird. I think what you said about the marquee is not weird. Think about the things that are common amongst all the iterations, no matter what cabinet they threw this stuff in. The common things really were, I mean, besides the control layout, which even that could vary, was going to be that PCB and the marquee. That really was the thing that distinguished the game, no matter what cabinet it was in. So I don't think you're off there, and I think that I think a lot of people are going to feel that way. The shape is definitely something to consider, but man, you're talking about both of these offerings here. Shinku Hadouken, Yoga Flame, looking at that marquee, looking at the control panel. I don't know. It's gonna be pretty easy, I think, for most people to sort of overlook that shape. It's mostly, going to be associated with the Midway Legacy or the
it's
Midway.
True, but
cabinets.
I'm starting to think of. I have the one on the right. I need to put it together.
Yeah,
and we're gonna have a giveaway, right, of that, and then on your stream, right, and my stream this weekend. So there's opportunity for people to pick up the Yoga Flame for free. But imagine you got Marvel versus Capcom. I'm like, this is just truly how I'm feeling. Like, imagine the whichever one of these is your favorite. Like, that's the Midway shape, but you have them next to each other. So you have Street Fighter, Marvel versus Capcom 2, both online, both fighting. That's your fighting cabs. You're good to go. You have two fighting cabs.
Forever.
That's it.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's pretty much it. Yeah, and then throw in MK30
both BOE.
In there. Boom, 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 boom.
Well, that's right. And you repaired your BOE, right?
I repaired mine, so
monitor.
Now it's up to snuff. So why we have all three of these sitting side by side, even though it's kind of something that I think I've been on both sides of this argument where I like all of them sort of being the same shape, uniformity in my arcade, and then I want something different. And so we have to. But now I think we've got such variety with the shooting cabs and all these other cabs that maybe if the fighting games were similar, it's not going to be that much of an issue, I don't think. But that's just my 2 cents.
Hands down, this is the best generational shape they've ever done, right?
I'm gonna have to say yes. I'm gonna have to say yes. I mean, if it's funny, they've settled on, I think, something that's probably the best looking shape. I mean, it looks the most like an arcade, and it's also, heaven forbid, it's actually comfortable. Blows your mind, I know, but it's comfortable to play on too. So
we want them all to be distinct, but I mean, their proposition is like all these legacy fighters will have this shape. If you're going to choose one, that's a pretty good one to choose.
I don't think that they can. They haven't put anything out to date that's better than this as far as shape, as far as comfort. So yeah. So hey, I think it's a win. Mystery Encoder swinging by to say hi, dropping $5 in the jar. Says okay. I love Marvel vs. Capcom 2 as well, but I want my hoodie. Hashtag Hoodiegate. I think this is the next gate. Mystery Encoder, I'm right there with you. Where's the merch?
We need to get loud about the merch. Screw Qbert. Give me a hoodie.
Yeah.
Can I get a 1 for that?
let's get a 1 for merch over Qbert specifically. I'm going to put those two weird things at odds. Yeah. So that was what I was thinking. We didn't get exactly that. Here's what we got. We're missing Punisher. It's probably going to be the violence, which is funny because you're talking about a game where you shoot energy beams and blow each other up, but it's not handgun violence. So I get it. I get the difference, but it's a damn shame we couldn't get that because it would have added a little bit of variety to this cabinet. Unfortunately, if you don't want a fighter, you're going to be stuck with one of the console ports. So that's a little bit weird. Yeah.
Yeah, let's look at that games list again. You
Okay.
know, out of it, I have a question for you. Like, besides Marvel versus Capcom, what else is your favorite game on there that you really enjoy? Because you have the cabinet behind you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That has some of those games on it, right?
So, Marvel versus Capcom was kind of a culmination of some of the other games in the series. So you have Marvel Superheroes versus Street Fighter, X-Men versus Street Fighter. X-Men versus Street Fighter borrowed this is a weird thing, I know. And no, most people aren't going to care. But Marvel Superheroes and X-Men versus Street Fighter had the very best character select music of all time. You've got it on your cabinet. Check it out. I love it. It's absolutely incredible. No, I'm sorry. It's X-Men Children of the Atom and X-Men versus Street Fighter. So it was a building block. These building block games, in my opinion, you had sort of the standalones with Marvel Superheroes, with X-Men Children of the Atom. Then they began to build on each other where we started bringing in Street Fighter, and then we started just Capcom in general and all that. And there's a lot of difference, a lot of variation. Some of the play style was different. I think if I had to settle down with one, it would probably be Marvel versus Capcom. But the caveat to all these games really was the roster was fairly limited. I mean, it really, really was small. And so I think that's why Marvel vs. Capcom 2 was such a big thing. They brought in every single character, every character
56, right?
56 individual characters, including 2 different Wolverines. It's incredible. And then if you play it long enough, you can unlock different colors. They're not different skins, but they're different color uniforms for every single player. It was incredible. Most of these characters weren't even playable characters. They were only assist characters. So you did your little assists and they would come in, do like a little superpower, and they would jump out.
Yeah.
So besides Marvel vs. Capcom 2, I would probably always return to MVC 1 with an honorable mention, X-Men versus Street Fighter.
I see.
Yes, absolutely. Fun. It was a great time too. Marvel was struggling for cash, and they were kind of going bankrupt as they were getting rid of all their properties. So anybody could pick them up. And I've always loved this art style that Capcom has. So when they took those characters and did their interpretations of these characters, these sprites are, in my opinion, they're classic. They're so good. So much fun. I know you're not a super fan.
Mm-hmm.
Are you familiar with the distinctions? Did you just sort of go with any particular one, or?
I remember enjoy playing I mean, I don't play mine every day or anything like that, but a buddy came over and we kind of, I think we played a lot of Children of the Atom is what we ended up playing.
Oh yeah. That's pretty fun. And you got the gyms that are sort of incorporated with the Marvel Superheroes game. So it adds a little bit of strategy and trying to figure that out. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, great. And here's the thing. I really, really enjoy these games, but I'm not good. I mean, I'm good for my little group of friends.
That's right.
Who are they're casual, and I got a few tricks and I whoop up on them, and that was great, But yeah, you take me into some kind of setting where everybody's super competitive, I'm probably not the best, or even really considered good. But I still, even though I just enjoy playing the game, it's really, really fun.
Yeah, I heard John was pretty excited because he said, like, this is going to have everything that people want, right? It's going to have spectate mode. I think a lobby was mentioned as well.
That's what I heard.
And I don't know if it's like this for Marvel vs. Capcom 2, but at least in general, John D was saying like it would be they're looking into a way to make it where people that are new to the game can kind of go into, some type of private room to practice, and it's not like the champions would be able to go in and just demolish everyone. But I don't know how they're going to work that out, but it's something they're researching.
If you could lock rooms to certain levels, so you can come in and maybe initially you could sort of whoop up on people, but you're going to level up fairly quickly, and now you can't go back to those lower level rooms. So, maybe that's a place where people can just sort of come together and fight each other at the same level. I'm curious to see how they implement that, because it was sort of the Wild Wild West before. Not necessarily a bad thing, but yeah, you really get discouraged. And so I would end up just playing it through story mode. and then unlock the cool, unique, different characters at the end. The bosses were really cool. You had some really weird ones, pulling from the comics a lot, and it was really interesting. Cyborg, Akuma, just these weird ones. You had Onslaught, I mean, which was a combination of Magneto and Professor X, and that was the bad guy. You had Apocalypse, so that was a lot of the fun too, is working your way up, fight the bad guy at the end, who was always really, really challenging. But that's kind of the thing that's funny. So with Marvel versus Capcom 2, that end boss isn't really that challenging. I mean, it's really just, he's very powerful, and if you just know when to block, you're gonna be okay.
So I was thinking about it. If you have a second to share screen, I did want to mention that this is kind of cool. There is right now, if you're eager to spend money, a lot of people have reached out to me like, did you know about this? It's right now. Well, you may not know about this because of all of the news about Marvel versus Capcom 2, right? There are deals right now. So there's a couple people that I've been chatting with related to, should I pull the trigger on these Countercades? They were at $149. And I was like, well, no. Dude. $129 is the lowest that we've seen retail. And so it's been jumping to $179, as you can see. There's some other ones. I can't remember which one it is. It's still $170. Yeah, NBA Jam is $179. This is what we normally see. Now, if you go to Arcade1up.com, Arcade1up.com, it reveals that original price at $229, but then $179. Don't bite at that because it fluctuates, right? But again, we are right now at the lowest price, and this is my question to you because I couldn't find it. This Countercade, and I think you have one. Which games were on that one?
Okay, so this is a really, really interesting one. So you've got X-Men, or you get Marvel versus Capcom. You have Marvel superheroes. You have X-Men versus Street Fighter, and then you have the Punisher.
See, that's what I was like. Is the Punisher on there?
Yes.
So $129. For the little countercade, it's your last chance to get Punisher.
This is an excellent point. That's an excellent point. Yes.
We should tell people because there's some people in the chat with some really good theories about why Punisher is on there or not on Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I don't know the facts, but I bet it's right. If I was a betting man, it was right. And they're saying that the Punisher as a character has been like canceled. Like, not Netflix canceled the series, but like the branding of that, like the world has canceled that. And I don't know even if that's true. I don't follow Punisher or watch that show. But the idea that when we were talking to John, remember, we were like, oh, why didn't we get Punisher? And he's like, yeah, it's done. Like, we'll never get it again. And he didn't say why. But he implied like that game is like,
it was
locked.
Yeah, like, it's sad. It really is, because I think it's a great character. But I think, Justin, we're familiar with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Disney, and all that. And you used to be able to sort of separate the Marvel studios. They would have their Netflix dark, edgy sort of stuff. Now it's all coming to the Mouse House.
Yeah.
And I would imagine of all the characters out there, Punisher definitely does not play well with that other, the other characters, that theme that they've tried to establish. So it's still a damn shame.
It could be that. I mean, just speculating, it could also be that particular title, that character. Someone did a lawsuit or something that's like, I own, I'm the one who actually came up with it, and it's like now kind of, and if we've seen that before with other television shows that have characters in it, and then there's some lawsuit, and they're like, wait, we gotta kind of like not use that for a while because we maybe have to pay royalty. I'm just speculating here, but what we did hear is they can't do Punisher because of some contract agreement. It probably won't be anywhere else, but they did get like Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is a license that Arcade1up has, and no one else is going to have it. And if it ever comes out on a console, it'll be Arcade1up making that console, is what we heard.
Wow. That's pretty interesting. No, I think honestly, it is speculation, guys. We don't know what's up with the Punisher. I really wanted him on there, but it could be a number of things. And what you're bringing up about rights and all that, it's incredibly likely. We've seen it derail movies, hundreds of millions of dollars, productions derailed because of some kind of rights issue. It's easy to see how something like that could discourage Arcade1up from even being allowed to be in the conversation because I mean it's just the dollars or they just don't make any sense. Stick Kenobi, buddy, how are you? Just want to say hi to you. Hi, Fox. I hope you are well, buddy. I absolutely am well. So good to see you, man. Thanks for stopping by the chat.
So I just read a comment. Someone has a very good theory. I don't know, Ritualdo. He says Disney owns Punisher, and the scrutiny over the Punisher skull being utilized by hate groups might prevent Punisher from appearing on a cab in the future.
No, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah.
So that emblem is if you're a gun rights activist, if you're military minded, that has been used as a form of intimidation before, and now I think some people have sort of captured that symbol and used it for straight up evil purposes. So it's possible. It's sad that we can't divorce symbolism from our characters, and we can't get these arcade games, which that's all we're really concerned about is preserving an arcade game. But unfortunately, you can't deny all these other forces. So I guess it makes sense.
So the opposite of preserving
it's
canceling.
It's destruction. So that's an excellent point. That Countercade is the only way you can currently buy Punisher, maybe even ever, in regards to Arcade1up and that arcade ROM. As far as purchasing it legitly, $130 is a great price. That's great. That's awesome. Speaking of prices,
and that's a good screen.
Oh, and that is another great point. That is a phenomenal screen. Okay, I mean it's not BOE, but it's a really good 8-inch screen on that Countercade. Very, very good screen for a great price. But speaking of price, how much is Marvel vs. Capcom 2 going to be? Well, I don't think we had an actual price tag listed on the website. Not that I saw. It's just sort of their standard, hey, we'll notify you, click the button, all that. But we know that what's become, the leak Bible at this point has been these GameFly leaks. They've been dead on. And there's 100%. Been such speculation. No one in their right mind thought that Marvel vs. Capcom was going to happen. A lot of us were hoping, but I think me personally, in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, it's probably it's probably some kind of whatever, the price was thrown on me, but I didn't know. I think it's safe to say this is going to be what we're going to get. And there's no other way to read this. $599 would appear to be the price for this cabinet. Seems a little high in comparison to some of the other stuff we're getting. We're talking about these legacy cabinets that are currently $500, but still only $100 more is not that bad. When you consider the current pricing of, this is the other way you can get the Punisher. That's right. With the head-to-head, if you count that. I don't know. It
fair.
Is, yeah.
It is available. It's also really, even though it's discounted, it's still a high price.
It's still a high price. It's not the most desirable form factor, but when this cabinet behind me released as a bundle, it was $549, and you see the games list, fairly limited, but at the time it was pretty awesome because we also got Wi-Fi with this cabinet. It was a big deal.
Right.
Then they later on released the Countercade we talked about, and then this head-to-head sit-down cabinet, which was just, man, this was the games list. This had it all. It's like everything. And it's everything that we got with the Marvel vs. Capcom cabinet, except for the Punisher. So it's a damn shame. But even this bad boy, $699, it fluctuates. I've seen it as low as $399.
Really?
I don't know if that's the current price, but oh yeah. It has been so weird, these cabinets. I think I actually saw today, I posted that Killer Instinct was $499 at Best Buy.
Right.
It's been all over the place. It's crazy. So when you compare that to, I think it's fairly in line. $100 more for what I would imagine is probably an upgraded processor. What do you think? You think they've upgraded the hardware?
I don't know. That's what I'm really curious about, right?
Yeah.
Like, is it possible that Marvel vs. Capcom 2 can run on the same hardware that we saw on Ridge Racer? I don't know. Is it the certain emulator doesn't require as much CPU, GPU? I don't really know. We did see, where did I see a picture of it? No, I haven't. We saw a picture of just the back of the monitor.
Completely covered, right.
Yeah, but it looked like the other metal shells of the back of it. You don't know what's inside it.
It's got the BOE sticker, but other than that, that's all we saw. We don't know what the guts look like. I didn't see any kind of big I didn't see it wasn't like double the size of the PCB cover, so I'm assuming it's going to be something fairly. It's going to be comparable, to say the least. $5 super chat from Tyler V says, "What's up, Fox Justin? Why do you snub me on your channel? Never show my super chats. Please address this glaring issue, an unforgivable omission. This Marvel vs. Capcom 2 cab is sick. Also, Blitz 2. Justin,
just give me 1 second.
I'll allow you to
I'm sorry, Tyler. It's not on purpose. I have no excuse. I'll do better. If you say that I've overlooked it, then I did. I apologize. I will do better.
And I think now we're all better people for being a part of this conversation.
Okay.
We're mending fences. We're healing hearts. We're saving the world one step at a time.
Come on, Fox. Stop being a baby Cade. See what I did there.
That stings a little bit. you calling me a?
I called you a baby Cade.
A paw? Are you saying I'm Paw Patrolling it? What? I don't even know. That doesn't make any sense either.
Next
really
topic.
bad. It's really bad. so let's move on to some of the sneaky pictures, some of the sneaky behind the scenes images that we couldn't really show before, and now we can. Let's start with the most important, the most revealing, and that's the box. The box that this thing comes in.
Yes.
A point of interest, maybe not everybody's going to be pumped about it. I thought that this was interesting because it tells us, hey, this is fairly far along as far as the production goes. I mean, it didn't just show up in a bag, or a plain cardboard box. This showed up in a retail box. It's got something that I want to talk about here in a minute, but evidently this is the design they're going with. There's not going to be a lot of deviation as far as the imagery because it's on the box. Of course, everything could change. They could change this up a little bit, and they could obviously change the artwork on the box. But I thought this was kind of interesting, showing off, calling out the eight games and sort of the standard stuff. Nothing too surprising there, but I wanted to share it with you.
Yeah.
For those who hadn't seen it. Now let's look at some of these pictures.
What do you got?
You want to look at some of the CAD pictures? I got some. I think you might have showed them too. Check these out, guys.
Ooh.
These are like real pictures of like a real thing that you can really touch for real. Really real.
Yeah, we're like, ooh, the claw.
Oh, yes, we are. We're the little green guys in Toy Story, and it's okay. It's fine. We're obviously going to get that familiar shape. We're going to get those coin doors. Now that we're sort of seeing it with all the reflections in the flesh, Justin, what are you thinking? You see anything out of the ordinary, or?
So there's a lot of people that have been asking me about the control deck. They're like,
yeah,
why is it the Street Fighter control deck? And to be fair, it's kind of interesting because I'm really thinking about having maybe both the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and the Yoga Flame. And let me show you something real quick. We can do a swap, right? Yeah, so if you get the Marvel vs. Capcom 2, this is the control panel with the apparently black trim, at least on the... Is it black trim on the real one that we saw, the pre-production version that B has?
Yes, it is. If you look at it, yeah, it's all black trimmed out. Yep.
Okay. So then, but if you get the turbo, right, it's going to basically have that same exact control deck, but it's got like the orange or red trim on it. That, I don't know if that's a good thing. If you, again, this might be a personal thing because I'm considering owning these two cabinets as my fighting cabs. Not a big Mortal Kombat fan, so these would be the two to replace my big blue.
Gotcha.
Anyway, you can go back to your picture there.
We're looking at these. I want to take a look. I want everybody to kind of get their eyeballs on this. But to your point, there's something that's kind of off for me, and I think it's probably going to. If you go back at you and look at your actual Yoga Flame that you're talking about, and also the Shinku Hadouken, you're talking about the side of the control panel. Not only the T molding is a different color on the Yoga Flame, but it's black on the side. And it's not on, you see the side panels are kind of that same sort of graphite looking color. And over there, see, it's not. And without this comparison, I probably wouldn't have made the connection. It looks a little out of place. Like whole control panel is sort of stuck on, whereas here it tends to blend in a little bit more.
I see.
Like, just my opinion, but
that's crazy detail. That is interesting. I also noticed something else if we're going to insane depth of
we're gonna
detail,
nitpick,
right?
Absolutely.
I saw another one. If you pull up the as an example, Give me 1 second. See,
No
that
problem.
one has. Okay, let's just go with the Countercade. Okay, so I got the Countercade up.
Look at the Countercade. Here we go.
Which is the Marvel superhero. Now I
Mhm.
don't know. Maybe the Marvel superheroes. I'm just curious, right?
Okay.
Blue, red, and green is the order of the.
Oh.
Okay.
Yep.
And mine
I'm with
that
you.
I
I'm with
have
you.
on this Marvel superheroes is blue, red, green. Swap over to Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and it's red, green, blue, button color gate. There we go.
It's in. Well, let's look at the real picture. Let's before we jump into no. Well, there it is. Red, green, blue.
Red, green, blue.
I don't know.
Hashtag not buying red, green, blue. No.
I don't. It's a problem. It's going to be an issue. I think it's going to be hotly debated.
It's inconsistent. No, but maybe there's a reason. Maybe that's actually Marvel versus Capcom.
You're right.
Color scheme. I don't know. I just noticed the
messing with me
all.
now when I think about it. Is why? No, I think there's the only difference as far as Capcom fighters, from my understanding. You're talking about Street Fighter 2 is going to be the red, white, and blue. And then when they went with the versus these Marvel crossovers, that's when they went with the different colors. What was the correct sequence? I don't know.
Yeah,
I really don't know. Let's move on to the marquee. Hotly contested in other cabinets. I think they really did well with the Mortal Kombat 30th. We got a little close up here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing maybe the image is slightly fuzzy, but as far as the image itself and as far as the translucent material and the lighting, it looks really good. It looks fairly consistent. What do you think?
Yeah, it's hard to tell. Maybe we could ask B if this photo is realistic to what's in person, or is it just the focus on his camera?
Could be the eye also is different. I will say that if you look at the black in the center of the logo, it's very dark.
Ooh,
and I think that
yes.
that makes a big difference. That tells me we're going to have some good contrast.
The other thing, it doesn't have any of the, some of those. Yeah, I think this is going to be the newer generation marquee, which appears to be across the board. We screamed loud about the last year, 2021 marquees were not good. They did some cost reduction or something in their manufacturing process, screwed up the speakers, screwed up the marquee, and we yelled at them. We're like, what the heck is going on? And it appears as though this 2022 version, this newer version, marquees are higher quality. And I remember when B first had it out last night, he was like, check it out. And it was that. The marquee was by itself, like Terminator 2 ever since then. So I think it's going to be a good marquee.
I hope so. I think that they kind of, you don't want to say too much. You don't want to give them too much of a high praise moment here, but it's like, okay, guys, you kind of got this licked. Let's not screw this up like we had the marquees sort of, or the monitors, some sort of a regression going on.
Right.
We don't want to do that. So I'm happy. I'm really happy with that. I think like I said, the shape is going to be good. Looks like for the most part, I think they're good as far as the artwork goes. It is a small detail, and I'm sure it's something we could probably fix, but as consumers. But I think that the side panel of that control panel being that graphite textured look, I don't think it looks as good as your Yoga Flame and your.
It's funny when you show it back to back. If you were to, kind of like you go to the eye doctor, right? And you're like, they keep on switching.
Is it 2?
I agree. The black on the side, especially since there's a black on the front of the cabinet.
That's a good point.
Kind of flows. But then when you compare it, you're like, and pretty soon John D's going to go into the chat and be like, here's the answer. Peel it.
If you just peel it off, it's fine. No. This is a deep. It's a conspiracy, and we've got to get to the bottom of it. No, I think everything is personal choice and preference, but to me, it kind of feels out of place. If you have the black on the side, though, and you make a good point, it ties into the front of the cabinet, which that's sort of where all the black is. So it just sort of it ties it in. I think it looks better.
Some people in the chat are like, yeah, but it shouldn't be black at all. It should be blue.
To match the side art. Or to match the background of the side art. That's a good point, too.
It could be, yeah. But Dude,
That's a good point too.
if we're looking at this going like, okay, the artwork on the side of the control panel is not right.
It's a great day to be alive. Listen, I love having these discussions because that means overall we're getting what we want. I like that. So
yeah.
I did want to take a quick look at the progression of sort of the crossover series, the versus series, and kind of where we started as compared to where we are now. So it all sort of started with these two cabinets in this, the one in the center and the one on the left was kind of a dream come true for the fighting game community. And then people who were just sort of fans of these games because it was really great to have these come out. It was always a radical change, like as far as the side artwork was, and even the risers were. You get characters on the bottom. It was very ornate. It was different than most of the cabinets at the time. And then these were some of the first ones that actually came out with the Wi-Fi also. So but there you go. Now that I'm looking at it, you got the red, green, blue. Yeah, or blue, red, green. It's the opposite on those cabinets. Crazy.
Did they fix it or did they mess up? And
yeah,
I guess you know what? If you don't like it, you can fix it. You just
can
go in there and unscrew it, pop them out, move it.
That's a good point. You can just
whatever.
Yeah, you can pop them out. If it does bother you, you can change it all up. You can do whatever you want. But this was sort of that progression. And when you look at it this way, it kind of, I think the thing that stands out to me is going to be, I mean, for better or for worse, and maybe it's an improvement. I don't know. Everybody is in the eye of the beholder. The eye of the beholder is going to be the not so loud, not so chaotic riser, sort of being simplistic on the bottom. What are your thoughts about that? Does it matter?
Well, let me hold my answer if you don't mind. I'm going to ask the audience, left to right, arcade 1, 2, and 3. Just type in the number that's your favorite and close your eyes. Don't look at anyone else's answer. Just if you think it's 3, hit 3 and enter. 2 for the middle one, 1 for the first one. Let me give a second before I give you my thoughts. So first I'll go through. The one on the left is the X-Men versus Street Fighter cabinet.
Yes,
right?
On the wall. Yep.
Differences are clearly the artwork is more red. You know, you got the branding on the side. You got Cyclops on the side. A lot of people are going to be appealed to that, right? Marvel vs. Capcom 1. Both of those first two cabinets have that, what is it called? The tread plate? Like the tread plate.
Like the diamond plate sort of
diamond
look to
plate,
it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And so that's cool. That actually has a distinct look to it, and that's fun, right? Mm-hmm. And then you have the Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and it kind of has that Street Fighter vibe from that. What were you calling it for that type of artwork?
Like a graphite sort of look.
Graphite,
yeah. Kind of a regression, I guess, when you put it that way. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the marquee, or what's it called? The bezel, it's just plain. It's just black, Arcade1up, that's it, right?
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, the best looking cabinet, in my opinion, is number 3. There's just, I mean, you go, it's taller, it's got the slanted control deck, it's got a coin door on the front, it's got a simplistic riser, it's got artwork on the side that is reminiscent of the Marvel vs. Capcom nostalgia, iconic look.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe it's the new thing. I don't. But
it could be. It could be. And to your point, you're talking about the side art. The cover of the PS2 version has those same 4 characters, as well. You know, just like the side art there. So it's the same 4 characters. There is some sort of lineage, common theme. I was kind of wondering, is there some reason why they went with those 4? That just seems to be sort of, I guess, the ones that we're calling out for this second iteration of the game. I tend to agree with you. I think that while I like the riser art on the other 2 cabinets, you could very, very easily put a lot of people off because it's so much. There's so much going on. It's so loud. And I forgot to put the poll up earlier, but I wanted to call everybody's attention to it while you're voting on this, which is important. I want to know where everybody sort of falls. The best one here as far as the overall look and the riser. The question I have for everybody now that we've gone through so much of this, jump up in the chat in the poll at the very top. It says basically simple question. Would you buy this Marvel vs. Capcom 2 cabinet at the price that we're guessing is $599?
Well, you say guess, but maybe you missed it. They did confirm it's $599.
Oh, they did confirm it. Okay,
yeah,
then there you go.
It was late in the show. Liv's like, it's $599. That's the price.
Okay. I was looking for something I could pull that was definitive. That's it. So let's just go with that. Let's go with $599. Would you buy this at that price. So yeah, I think I'm with you. I think I got to go through. Going back and forth. I like the way it's sort of understated, and the side art. While there's a lot going on color wise, there's not that much going on as far as the characters and the craziness. I like it. I think this is definitely a great progression, with the exception of that sticker on the side of the control panel. Other than that, it's hey, I've got to find something. There's got to be some kind of flaw.
Find something.
I can't just shill, without end. So yeah. So there we're at. That's been sort of the progression of this. It's been a crazy day. It's been a great day. We've sat on some of this information for a little bit. Haven't been able to share that with everybody. Now that it's over, now that it's out there, seeing the reaction of people. We get the hashtag, free Punisher, but seeing the reaction of people. I mean, I've been getting messages from just people in this community that they're just saying, I'm so happy. I'm just happy. I'm just happy I can go get it. I'm just happy I can buy it. And it's a lot of positivity. It really is. Not a lot of, there's going to be some, I want this, I want that's out there. But it's just a lot of, man, they did it. They did it. Are you getting that sort of reaction, or is it a little bit skewed one way or the other?
Yeah, that's the kind of general reaction that I've been getting reading some of the comments. It's probably, 19 out of 20 people are commenting very positive things. And then there's some people that are like, not interested. But you always have that with any release. So overall, I think it's positive. There's some things, while we have an opportunity to talk about it in the chat, is, on our streams on Sunday, right? I think that's when Arcade1up is giving us access to a special form. And by doing that, you get access to pre-order it before public. So as an example, September 8th, if you go to Arcade1up's website, that is the public drop date for pre-orders. If you go to the website, right, for $5.99, September 8th, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, that is when, as of right now, if you go into it, that is where the Notify Me button is going to turn into a pre-order button. But they want to do this thing, and it may not be made clear on all the channels. And so for those that are watching right now, we'll try to explain it. And what it is we're doing these like giveaways, and the giveaway involves you giving Arcade1up your name and address, or I think it's the email address is the most important.
Yes.
There's two things a part of that. One, you have access to win a Yoga Flame Street Fighter cabinet, and the second thing is they're gonna send out private links for the like super fans of the YouTube communities to be able to pre-order it before everyone else can pre-order it. So you can lock in your Arcade1up direct to consumer on Arcade1up's website. If they sell out September 8th, you locked in before they went public. And so it's just something new. This is all Liv, the new rep, her idea to be like, this is how she can give back to the community, is to give these people, do giveaways and do special access. So that's going to be on Fox's stream and my stream on Sunday.
It's going to be a great way to sort of become a part of or get on that special list, right? It's a great way for them to gauge excitement about the product. And it's also a great way for us to sort of get our names in the hat, right? Now, I filled the I don't have the link though. Justin, do you have the link? I can throw it in the chat real quick, or could you throw it in the chat for the survey? I don't know that I have that.
For the survey?
Yeah, I got that B headed on his stream, and I think I've lost it. I don't have it.
I'm not sure.
But basically, what it is you just click on it, and it's your register for the chance to win everything you just said, the Yoga Flame cabinet, and it's a miniature survey within that. So you've got to have all your vital information, your name. You're going to have your email address, your physical address, phone number, and then it actually has a couple questions, sort of like the survey we had before, right? How many Countercades do you have? How many party cades do you have? And it kind of gives them a little more information as far as who you are and what you're about, what you're into. So it's definitely something.
We'll get our own links on Sunday.
Yes, exactly.
It's a part of the giveaway. Yeah.
Yeah. BCB 147 with a $5 super chat. Just my O2. Like it. but should have added a few more characters. Ones have okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. For the side art, ones we haven't seen on side art before: Cable, Morgan, Doctor Doom, Jill Valentine. Great suggestions. A great way to sort of maybe take this product and set it apart from others. That's a good suggestion. I think my only comment about that would be, as soon as you take characters and put them on there, now everybody wants a different character or that character. There's 56 characters. It's tough to get them all on there. So how did they pick these 4? Like I said, I don't know. It was on the cover of the PS2 version of the game, these 4 characters. So maybe there's some sort of tie in there. But yeah, it's a good question. It's a good suggestion to kind of maybe throw some other characters on there. There are 2 sides to this coin, to this cabinet. They could have really gone crazy on both sides. Maybe different characters all around. That would have been an interesting choice, but maybe not the best choice. I think we just said we kind of like the non-busy riser, and maybe just a couple characters on the side. So
right,
I kind of miss Wolverine.
Oh, that's
Wolverine would have been cool.
Yeah. Now, one thing, if you want to share my screen real quick, that they did get, I mean, pretty good. It's that marquee. If you compare, did I have one? Yeah, if you compare the common marquees that you'll see on there, it looks like that. Now, you'll see that Naomi logo in the corner sometimes when you're kind of looking at some of these.
Oh, yeah, some of these,
but
exactly.
What they did do, which I think is pretty good, they put the modern Marvel logo in there, because this is obviously a partnership with Capcom and Marvel. Exactly. So that's the only real deviation that I really noticed on the marquee. Yep. So you could say that the marquee is it's the anchor that's holding it to the original.
I think so. Yeah, that's fair.
Whereas there's, and that's kind of interesting. I think this is what that company Taste or Think Up does. I think this is all fake reflections. They literally in Photoshop, I think they take this and do a fake reflection. It looks kind of weird on the edges there.
No, so this is what. Okay, I'm glad you're bringing this up, because here's what I thought when I first thought that. I thought that was. They were just taking the render of the Shindu Hadouken or the Yoga Flame, and they were just sort of covering up, and that's where they didn't cover up the image or whatever. So then I looked, I'm like, oh, it's the fake reflection. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
or the real reflection.
Yeah. So that's just, I don't know. We should probably tell.
I thought it was like an artifact. Yeah, maybe clean that up a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think if you pull up the images of bees, right, the one in the actual production unit, I don't think it has that reflection at all. Yeah, it's actually got a black trim.
So. Yeah, all the way. Yeah, it does. It does, because I think on this render, no, you see the black trim here, but yeah, you don't see that that artifact. I thought it was an artifact of just something else they were trying to do.
They're just making it look like it's a real picture with lighting and reflection, but it's fake.
But it's weird. It's weird. Yeah, it's weird. Final thoughts, Justin. I mean, it's been kind of a fun, eventful day. What do you think about it? What do you think about this? What do you think about the community reaction overall? Ready to go to bed?
Yeah, very tired. We were, we did a late stream with B last night, and then
early stream this morning.
Yeah, and then this morning, and then last night I got pulled in because they were like, we need some help. We clearly can't do this, because they were trying to coordinate who was all doing what, and I was like, how about I just run the stream for your new show? Like, I don't have to be on camera or anything like that. Don't have to shout me out. I'll just do all the cameras.
Make it easy. Yeah.
And I've never done that before. I've done that where I've kind of helped out B.
Right.
But this one was like basically 99.9% of the show. I was just pressing buttons. It was a lot of fun. I'm like, I kind of feel like if anyone wants me to help behind the scene host,
really okay.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
You don't have to worry about the camera portion.
Don't
You're
have
not
to worry about
come
all
up
that.
with something to say. Yeah.
It was still enjoyable.
That's cool.
Anyway, I'm really excited for cabinets to start to ship when that happens. It's supposed to be a few weeks after September, after the pre-orders. People will get it probably by October. And then we'll see how big the lobbies get. I want to see if the real big fighting scene kind of like really embraces this. Do the competitions that are like doing like legit MVC2 competitions, do they embrace this form factor as a legitimate way to do competitions? I don't know,
because I think you mentioned this on your show. People are asking about latency, lag. We want to make this. All these things are going to really become a factor when you're talking about competing at this level with this game. So it's going to be interesting to see how they sort of pick this apart. And now we have Marvel vs. Capcom 2 slated 10:15. That's probably going to be a little later than we're actually going to get that, which is a good thing. We've seen something in regards to NFL Blitz. Time Crisis. That's the next leak. That's the next theorizing, speculation session. Curious to see what goes on there.
Start it all over next year.
We just kick it all up. It'd be great. And then next year, who knows?
Come
Justin,
on, GameFly, hook us up again.
Can we give the guy $1? Can we do something? Can we just anything, something? Thank you so much to Justin for hanging out with me on the stream. Thank you to everybody in the chat. Just a small programming note, some little housekeeping. I am on vacation, which means we're taking off tomorrow and no show, unfortunately, for me this Sunday.
Oh, what?
Yeah, I know. But next Sunday.
There we go.
Next Sunday, I will be a part of that long stream of giveaways. I think it's going to culminate. It may actually culminate on my show the following Sunday. I think that's how it's going to work. We're going to update everybody as we get this information. So pay attention to all of our channels, all of our community posts, trying to make sense of this.
Subscribe, baby.
Subscribe, baby. Exactly.
Okay.
That's a great tagline. So that's what's going on for me and this channel, but definitely check out Justin. I think he's probably going to do a great job taking up some airspace, some time on Sunday. Always seems to have just an awesome show. But yeah,
as well, my friend. Have a good vacation, dude.
I'm gonna have a great
time.
Thank you so much. It's gonna be great. No internet access, a very limited internet access. So I'll just try to post when I can and say hi and check in on everybody. But thank you so much for stopping by and checking out the channel, everybody. Y'all have a blessed day. Enjoy your weekend, and I will see you